It's MonsterVerse, baby.
As part of the Legends of the MonsterVerse The Omnibus Collection, which compiled all previous MonsterVerse comics, Legendary Comics released Godzilla Fight or Flight. Written by Brian Buccellato with art by Muhammad Yazid, returning from Skull Island, The Birth of Kong, and Kingdom Kong, the comic released on August 16th, 2023 as part of an ongoing Kickstarter campaign. The story begins with a flashback to G-Day, as fighter pilot Tyler Nye shares his experience to his fellow soldiers. Tyler was a young boy who found himself trapped in a car as the male Muto and Godzilla began their legendary fight. This leads into a quick recap of Godzilla's final battle in San Francisco. In 2024, Tyler's fellow pilots laugh at his story and throw elementary school level insults at him. Just then, they get word Godzilla was spotted off the Atlantic coast. Tyler is the only one in his squad to believe in Godzilla. Everyone else sees him as a threat that needs to be stopped. Tyler reminds everyone about 2019, when Ghidorah caused the mass awakening, forcing Godzilla and Mothra to unite against him and Rodan to save the planet. Everyone makes fun of Tyler, again continuing the school-like taunting by telling him to grow up. Godzilla leaves his territory in the Bermuda Triangle, heading straight for the US. Tyler fears his upcoming mission, but claims he'll be fine taking on Godzilla. Tyler goes by G-Stan, writing the name on his helmet and plane. He takes off with the Falcon Squadron. They intercept Godzilla, who goes on a rampage, destroying a factory with seemingly no motivation. Tyler annoys his fellow soldiers, claiming a rival Titan must be hiding nearby. The Falcons engage and Godzilla begins to murder them one by one. Tyler, believing in his heart that Godzilla's on their side, fails to aid his soldiers in combat, watching them die. He takes on damage from the atomic breath and ditches his plane, apologizing to Godzilla and wishing him luck in finding whatever he's searching for. The comic ends with Godzilla roaring in front of the remains of a factory as a massive mechanical eye is revealed. Godzilla Fight or Flight is unfortunately the worst entry in the MonsterVerse. The writing is intensely childish. The characters literally speak like children, throwing playground insults at each other, talking about butts with added commentary like, "Ew, that's gross." This comic reads like it was written by a 10-year-old, and this might be intentional. It's possible this comic was written for young children, but the overuse of the word ass in an 18-page story throws that theory off a little. This comic wasn't advertised for children and claimed to be a bonus story fleshing out the events of Godzilla vs. Kong. The story doesn't do a good job at that either. Godzilla vs. Kong seemed to imply the jets responding to Godzilla in Pensacola were Apex jets, defending their factory. Now we learn they're piloted by US soldiers trying to defend their country, making Godzilla killing them feel awkward. The reveal he's searching for Mechagodzilla is no longer an ends that justifies the means. The comic doesn't address this, instead reading like a fanfiction apology tour trying to explain away Godzilla's bad behavior in the film. They even go as far as to show Tyler surviving the incident as if Godzilla hadn't killed anyone. This comic and its lead character feel like the average child fan of the MonsterVerse furiously commenting on a YouTube video defending Godzilla's honor way too much. Tyler is essentially just a self-insert character, living through the events of the films while having no effect on anything around him, only existing to fanboy over Godzilla. The only redeeming element of this story is the artwork by Zid. As always, Zid manages to perfectly capture the visual aesthetic of the universe. His artwork nails key moments and visuals from the previous Godzilla films. The 2014 panels are rooted in geography any viewer of the film will recognize. The recap artwork for both 2014 and King of the Monsters looks incredible. It's great to see Rodan, Mothra, and Ghidorah return even in a flashback. The Pensacola attack looks incredible. Key visuals from Godzilla vs. Kong are replicated perfectly. This comic also fleshes out the Apex attack, showing a bit more of the jet fight, which is great. As someone who supported the MonsterVerse Omnibus collection and was excited to read the new story, I couldn't be more disappointed. While Zid's artwork is fantastic, the comic was a little embarrassing to read. The frustrating part is that it has a good concept. A character who survived through the events of G-Day only because Godzilla rescued them is refreshing to see. Normally returning to G-Day is just done to see Godzilla kill children to add depth to the story's current protagonist. Having a character start to worship Godzilla, vindicated by the events of King of the Monsters, only to force them into combat against him is a wonderful conflict. conflict. Setting it during the events of Godzilla vs. Kong is even better and could have helped add depth to Godzilla's sudden shift in behavior. But Tyler doesn't even try. He lets his bullies die and then abandons ship, making him a worse person than they ever were. This might be better as one of the children's entries alongside Godzilla vs. Kong, Sometimes Friends Fight, and Kong and Me, except it still features words that kids would consider cuss words and has Godzilla killing innocent people. Maybe this is to add a level of edge to the comic, gearing it towards middle schoolers. Either way, it was an enormous disappointment. Even as a middle schooler, I would have appreciated a more nuanced take on Godzilla. Sadly, Godzilla Fight or Flight didn't do it for me. I would only recommend this comic to very young Godzilla fans, especially the ones who take the character way too seriously. Thank you so much for watching another episode of MonsterVerse May. I really appreciate it. If you want to see upcoming episodes of MonsterVerse May early, please consider supporting the channel using the link to the Patreon in the description below. By supporting the Patreon, you are directly supporting this channel and making sure that I can continue to make videos like this for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all next time for the next one. D-Man out.